ancient flowering plant. Your mother knew about it. Your grandmother, probably your great-grandmother, and there were probably plants that they had in their garden. But they didn't have Dianthus like this. Dianthus usually is a very low-growing flower, looking, quite frankly, almost like a ground cover, but yet these are the new evolution, the new species of Dianthus that are called American Pie, brought to us by the one and only Phillip Watson. At $26.92, there is no shipping and handling. You're getting 4 very distinctive varieties of the new modern age Dianthus. That key lime is a gorgeous yellow center, and Mother Nature doesn't paint with white very often with flowers, and white really pops. You're also going to get what's called blueberry, Georgia peach, and then cherry pie. Let me show you the comparison. This is the Dianthus that your mother knew. And it looks very much almost like grass. And itty bitty but beautiful little flowers. But compare this to this. And how modern Dianthus now gives us a long stem, and it's a stiff, hardy stem that now will give you flower after flower after flower. And because they're perennials, they'll come back every year. On our phone lines is our dear friend, Phillip Watson. Phillip, good morning to you. How are you, buddy?
Good morning, you rapscallion.
Boy, there's a phrase I haven't heard for a while. This is truly your passion, is to be able to take things that you remember as a child that pleased your parents and pleased the neighbors, and to help to develop these brand new varieties, in this case Dianthus, in colors that I had never ever seen before. These are gorgeous.
Yes, they are. It's just an exquisite array of colors, but the flowers are so much larger than any of the Dianthus that my grandmother had, and even different from the ones that my mentor in England had in her English garden. So I call this my long-stemmed American Pie collection, because the stems are long enough for cutting for arrangement, but they're not so long that they fall over in the garden. The foliage is that beautiful, sort of like a Colorado blue spruce foliage.
Yep.
And the blooms smell like clove chewing gum.
Yeah, it's funny. You have to be a certain age. Phillip and I were talking earlier, and he mentioned this clove gum, and you've got to be a certain age to remember that. This will attract hummingbirds and bees by the swarms, but yet deer don't tend to eat it or like it. And
correct.
It's just a tremendously easy plant in which to grow, which is one of the reasons why our mothers and grandmothers loved the old Dianthus, because the stuff, as my mother would say, is too dumb to die. You can plant it in areas where other things won't grow.
Well, these have a really wide range of application, too. They are hardy to minus 20 degrees, and then they only need a light frost. So if you live in a frost-free area, they're not for you. But for most areas, they're going to really perform. They're primarily evergreen, and even with the blooms, they'll be about 12 inches tall, but that's it. And they'll bloom from early summer into fall. So they outperform most other perennials, and then you got that great, unusual fragrance.
And I'm as much about the foliage as I am the flower. And this is almost like a dusty, almost blue colored foliage. I love your analogy of it being like a blue spruce Christmas tree. And you're getting 4 different varieties. And run us through each. The key lime, that's a personal opinion. That's my favorite, to see that bright yellow eyeball with a...
It makes everything else show up.
Yeah, yep.
And I love that one. Again, incredibly sweet, white with that beautiful chartreuse center. And when they're all massed out, that's the look that you have, because they sit down like a puppy on the floor taking a nap. You can't see underneath them. It's just a beautiful way to dress up the front of your border or your window boxes, or even your containers, because they'll spill over the edge and they will survive in a container throughout the winter without having to do anything with the pot.
And they're coming to you in 4 already thriving 3.5-inch pots. In fact, if you look, these are darn near ready to bloom right now.
And that's what I love, is that we're offering bigger plants, better plants, so you can have a better garden.
Yeah.
And these are good to go. A lot of things, you know, you see offered, they're small, you got to baby them. I hadn't got time to baby things, but I do want my garden to be especially beautiful this year.
Because we're going to spend more time at home. And even when all this craziness shakes out, our home has really become our own respite, our own sanctuary from the wackiness and the craziness of the world. And more and more people are investing in their gardens and their yards this year than probably ever before. And for people, if you don't agree with this, Philip, by all means, correct me. You are the expert. But most people already have their gardens somewhat done over the years because we plant perennials. The beauty of these plants is that because they don't grow tall, and as you say, they lay down like a puppy dog on the floor and stay low, you can plant these in the front of whatever you already have, and it gives this wonderful kind of a whimsy and joy with these flowers. And it's so different than the old Dianthus that I remember, which was pretty, but it wasn't exciting. This is exciting.
Right. Well, these are nice, bright colors, and the biggest flowers on any Dianthus that I've ever seen. And if you think they look a little bit like carnations, that's because they're in the same family. I have mine planted alongside my driveway because they will creep out over the edge of the driveway, and they don't mind the heat.
Okay.
So they carry on in great fashion there. But also, if you've got a rock garden where you've got the sedums that you may have picked up earlier this season, they're ideal in a rock garden with your sedums.
If you get multiple sets, do you recommend splitting these 4 colors up or partner them together with one of equal color and design?
Well, I like them partnered. Each one, once they're mature, they will get up to 3 feet across.
Oh.
And people see that and they think, oh, I can divide it now. But this is what happens. The plant itself gets bigger, but it doesn't root along the ground. It is still emanating from that central point.
Okay.
And if you lift it up, it's kind of like a Christmas tree skirt. Then you can see the trunk of the tree, which is the base of the plant.
Okay.
But so give them room to do their thing, and they'll be real happy. I do plant mine at least 2 feet apart, so I don't waste them.
Perfect. Now, again, you want to live in an area of the country where you will get a light frost. If you live in an area like, say, Florida or where you were from in hot Mississippi and you don't get that frost, these aren't right for you. But even for people who live up here in the Northeast, this is winter hardy to a massively low temperature. What'd you say, 20 below?
20 below.
Yeah.
But they will grow all the way down to just above Orlando. So we grow them down on the Mississippi Gulf Coast.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Philip, I appreciate you getting up this morning and joining Pat and myself. You stay at home. You stay healthy.
Thank you.
We can't wait for this all to end, and we'll get together again, hopefully soon. Thank you, my friend. I really do appreciate it.
I'm ready. Thanks for having me in. Happy morning.
Be well. Bye-bye. Now, Phillip Watson warranties happiness. That's pretty amazing. If you have any questions regarding your order, you've got our phone number, but he promises that these will grow and they'll do well, or he'll replace it with a similar or comparable plant at no additional charge. If the placement is not available at the time of shipping, then he will ship you a new one next year, a new set. But this is a 4-piece American Pie Dianthus set, and we've got them available at a very attractive price.
We will, by the way, have Roberta's coming up with a 3-piece Gerber Daisy.